Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's been about a month since I uploaded a video. A lot has happened since then. My father-in-law passed away, and it's going to be reflective on my pages. And my cousin, a week before he passed, I didn't really keep up in here, but you'll see that. So this is my Hobonichi cousin. This is my weeks. And in here is my A6 book journal. So I kind of wanted to show you what I've done in here. So first, let's go with my cousin. As I said, my father-in-law lost his battle with cancer, and he passed away last month. And so, as you can imagine, it's been a very sad time. I don't know how else to explain it. And so it's been really hard, you know, wanting to keep up with journaling and stuff, because there's just not much, you know, you just don't really want to do anything. And so again, this is my cousin. So this is the weekly layout. This is for last week. So I try to do my best, you know, with the decorating to try to cheer things up and just make myself try to use it. So this is kind of what it looked like for last week. And so this is the week before. On the 28th is when we found out that he passed away. And so you can see how plain it looks. This is the week before that. And this is when he was sort of struggling with his treatments. And again, wasn't really into it. And then the week before that, I thought, you know, he was really going to try to fight it. And so I was able to kind of keep up with it. And so let's go to the daily pages. And again, I try to catch up. And there were just some pages that I didn't, just not much to say or do. And so I'm just going to leave them blank. And again, once we get there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Also recovering from a cold. So I do apologize for any coughing that I may do during the video. So this is for yesterday. I found a new stove. It's a new old stove. It's called a Roper stove from the 50s. Somebody was giving it away. And we like old stoves in our kitchen. We have a Wedgwood right now. I think it's called a Wedgwood. Anyways, they were giving this away, so we picked it up yesterday. Here's the lizard. And so, as I said before, if you're new to my channel, I do have daily comics that I insert onto the pages, you know, and I tape them in, glue them in. And then these are photos that I've also taped in. We did some AC work here. Flowers for my mom. If it's okay, I'm just going to kind of flip through and maybe not talk so much. Kitchen nook. That's my neighbor. This is my Monstera albo, Deliciosa albo variegata. I decided to combine my two plants. It's taller than me now, so it's now like 5'5" maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna do as it keeps growing, because I'm having a hard time trying to find a good spot for it, and I don't really want to cut it up, you know, to make them shorter. Here's my husband putting the fence together. We recycled old wood to make the fence, to cover our fence. Bruce. Here's an orchid plant. Not an orchid, but it's a type of cacti. So here is the end of June, and as you can see, didn't do anything here. This is the day my father-in-law passed away, so I wrote some stuff down. And again, nothing here, because this is when we were discovering that he decided to stop his treatments. So these are the comic strips from the calendar. So they look like this. And so then I cut them up and then put them in like this. This is when I was having a movie marathon. Roku was doing a free weekend, and I thought I was going to load it up with movies, but I could only find 2 that I wanted to watch. Avocado. These are cacti seedlings that I started from seed. These are about 2 to 3 years old, and so I went ahead and repotted them. So this is the before, and then this is the after. And then a mango seed, I decided to try to start. And it's actually only one of the seeds is actually growing now, but this is what it looks like. Once you break the hard seed inside of a mango, this is what it looks like on the inside. And so I planted them, and one of them has sprouted. And as you can see, there's nothing here. And then this is where I stopped last month. So that's my cousin. In my weeks, you know, again, it's really simple. Just a very quick look of my week. And so let's go for this. This is this week. And so because I've been sick, I haven't been exercising at all. Haven't kept track of my weight or steps, but this is to this week. So you can see what it looks like. So I need to go back. I do have it tracked on my Garmin, so I just need to go back and fill it in. So that's what that looks like. And then I decided, since I stopped using my Happy Planner, because I'm trying to downsize the amount of planners that I'm using, and thankfully my Happy Planner expired at the end of June. So I decided to keep track of my bills in the back of the Hobonichi Weeks, and so I won't really show you how I am, you know, my bills, but I will show you how I'm keeping track. So let me see if I can do this without showing you the amount, because I'm also keeping track of my husband's bills for his company. So you know how on the back there are the blank pages? Can you see that? So this is how I'm keeping track of it in the back on the blank pages. So on top is July bills, and then I have the bill, the date, the amount that's due, the amount that we actually paid, and then whether or not we paid it. And so I'm using 2 pages just because, you know, we're halfway through the year now, and I want to use up the rest of the pages. So if I do buy a weeks next year, for next year, this is probably where I will keep track of our bills. So that's kind of how I'm doing it back here. And then a quick thing I wanted to show was, you remember that I bought an A6 Supplemental Weekly, and so I've been using it to keep track. I'm so sorry for that noise, but again, that's my neighbor. I've been using an A6 Weekly supplement to help keep track of Bruce's health. And you know, because he does have a heart problem, so I do keep track of his, you know, how often he goes to the bathroom, and then whether or not he drinks water. Apparently he doesn't drink enough water, but you can't make him drink. And so I keep track of, you know, when he goes to the bathroom, and then if he drinks any water, and then at the time of day. So when we see his cardiologist or his regular vet, I can tell them, oh yes, he went to the bathroom 2 times this day, and he drank water these 2, you know, at this time and at this time. Or on this day, he only went to the bathroom once and only drank 1 time during the day. So this is my weekly supplement, and it's been working really good. So I think next year I will continue this for him. And then I do keep a blank A6 notebook back here, also from the Hobonichi Techo, where I have his like health history, and you know, when the dates that we go see the vet, and you know, keep track of his weight. I have that all back here. So that's this guy. And then lastly, I want to share with you my reading journal. I love to read, and I've been trying to do more of that at night. And so I've been keeping track of it in here. And so if you follow other people who like to read in their reading journals, Let me see, take it back to the beginning. So I wanted to, and then plus I have a lot of pens. As you know, us journalers or planners, we love pens and stationary things. And so I have a lot of colored pens. And so I wanted to try to use them up. And so this is how I did it. So instead of printing out a photo of the cover, or what's the other thing they do? I've seen people print it out or like take a photo. I decided to draw it in and then watercolor it. So this is a book that I read, and then the date that I started it, ended it, how many pages, and then if it's an ebook, not an ebook, and then the type of book, and then how many stars, my rating. And so this is what the cover looks like. I actually fell into a slight slump after I read Foundryside. So Foundryside for me, so I read Hyde, which I thought it came out pretty nice. Not my favorite book. But then I read Foundryside, and it was a reread for me because it's a 3-book trilogy. 3-book trilogy. A trilogy is 3, but he wrote 3 books, and so this was a reread for me. And the 3rd book came out last month, and so I wanted to reread this one, read the 2nd book, so that when the 3rd book arrived, I could read the 3rd book. And again, with my father-in-law passing away, did not do that. But I did finally finish this book, which was great. That's Bruce. Fell into a slight slump because the 2nd book, even though I own it, and it is right here, Shorefall. Even though I own it, I have to use reading glasses, and so sometimes they make my eyes hurt. So I'm still waiting for the ebook to come out. So I checked out a book called Rules for Vanishing, which was actually really, really good. Unfortunately, I rated it a 3 to a 3.5, and again, these ratings are my own. If you decided to read it, you may feel differently about it, and that's fine. But it's pretty good. They said it was a mix between Blair Witch and another movie I can't think of right now off the top of my head. It was a solid 4 stars read for me until I got to the end. And at the end, I just didn't really enjoy it too much. Wrote my thoughts, wrote some interesting things down as I was following along with it. But for my next book, I am going to start reading Shorefall. And as you can see, it's so dark. And just to show you what Foundryside looks like, because I do have that book next to me. So this is what I watercolored in. And then here's the actual book. So you can see it's really hard, at least for me with watercolor, to make it as dark as this one. So it's more of a grayish color, but you know, it looks a little similar. So when I finally watercolor in Shorefall, it's probably going to be this color of a lighter black than this dark one. But I'm excited to get started with this one, just so that I don't need to reread this one, you know, to continue into this one. So yep, that is it. This is a very quick look of my planners for the past month or so. So, okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.